Hello fellow Shadows, welcome to another video, and today we're going to talk about how there's going to be a possible Iron Man cameo in the Black Widow movie. I thought this movie was going to take place like before the Avengers movies, but no, it's going to take place after Captain America Civil War. And it's going to center around Black Widow. And apparently, how Iron Man comes in is they're going to use some deleted scenes from Civil War, put in the movie, having Tony pretty much beg Natasha Romanoff to hide and to run. Now that isn't exactly bad, it's just, I feel like if we were to go and get a Black Widow movie, it would have made more sense to, and especially since it's supposed to be set after Civil War, I felt like we should have gotten a Black Widow movie that was supposed to be set after Civil War, after Civil War was released in theaters 3 years ago, but we didn't. And yeah, there's that part of me that is kind of excited that there's a Black Widow themed movie, because Black Widow is one of the first 6 Avengers, because there was Iron Man, Captain America, Thor. Why am I thinking out the fourth one? Iron Man, Thor, Captain America. So 3 of the first 6. Oh, and the Hulk. There you go. And Hulk. All got their movies before Avengers. The first one came out. Hawkeye made a cameo in the first Thor movie, and Black Widow made a cameo in the second Iron Man movie. And I feel like, yeah, after the first Avengers movies, that's when they could have dove into like a potential Hawkeye and Black Widow movie after the first Avengers, before Age of Ultron came out, so we can get more emotionally connected with both characters. And you can say that they still have a chance of doing that with Hawkeye, like having it be a continuation movie besides it being a show. But I feel like even though there's that part of me that is excited for a Black Widow movie, because she's the OG, part of the OG 6 of the Avengers, I feel like it's too late, because she died in Avengers Endgame. She died in, and Tony Stark died in Endgame as well. So, as cool as it could be seeing those 2 characters on the big screen again, unless if it's like in flashbacks, like in a flashback scene for like Hawkeye remembering Tony, or old man Steve Rogers remembering his time being the Avengers, and so happened to have Tony Stark and him having a conversation that we might not have seen, but it's kind of like a flashback per se. Unless if it's that, where it kind of, the story is set after Endgame, and we see some of the characters having flashbacks, I feel like it's too late to have Black Widow having her own movie, per se, if you get what I mean. I mean, they kind of cheated with Gamora in Endgame, and I should have said spoiler alert, but, you know, Gamora dies in Infinity War. So that kind of left the question for like a year: what will happen to Gamora, like the Guardians now that there's no Gamora? Well, they answered that perfectly in Endgame. They just in their in the Avengers and Guardians quest to get the Infinity Stones, Nebula brought back the past Gamora, which you can consider as evil, but not really evil, because she switched sides so easy in Endgame. But she was able to bring her Gamora back, her sister from the past. So it kind of can retcon, in a sense, Gamora's death, which can change history, which can have nasty anomalies for the historic timeline. Which, yeah, been watching too much Doctor Who and too much Legends of Tomorrow to know that there are some things that are set in the timeline they should not alter because there can be nasty side effects. But there are some things that it doesn't really matter all too much because it doesn't have a large enough ripple. I guess bring Gamora back doesn't have a good enough ripple. So also bring Gamora back kind of questions how are they going to do the whole Gamora and Star-Lord thing in Guardians of the Galaxy 3, but that's a video for another time. So my point is for bringing Gamora is unless if the Avengers decides to do this time traveling thing but bring back Black Widow from the past into the present, I don't, or at least Natasha Romanoff, I don't know how this will work, this movie, unless if they're going to introduce the whole Black Widow program, and then towards the end of the movie, have it where a new Black Widow emerges and takes Natasha Romanoff's place as Black Widow on the Avengers, and then potentially having a sequel movie of this new Black Widow, kind of like struggling the same thing how Spider-Man was struggling in Far From Home, struggling to filling in Natasha Romanoff's shoes while still making a name for herself in the Black Widow as a new Black Widow. Spider-Man had to do that because there was like a lot of pressure on him whether or not he was going to be the next Iron Man or if he's going to branch out a bit, being his own hero, yeah, taking some elements of Iron Man into being his own hero. And I feel like that same formula could apply for Black Widow, but then it would be kind of like a rehash of Spider-Man Far From Home, but, you know, I want to be 100% excited. I watched all of the MCU movies, all 20-something MCU movies. All of them were good, or as one of my favorite YouTubers, Jeremy Johns, likes to say, awesome-tacular. Endgame and Infinity War, in my opinion, were awesome-tacular. Well, I say good or awesome-tacular, except for Captain Marvel, which I found to be boring. Like, in terms of comparing that movie to the other 20-something MCU movies, I found Captain Marvel to be kind of boring. And yeah. But yeah, Black Widow, yeah, is a movie that a lot of fans wanted, including myself, for a while now. I feel like her death in Endgame kind of hurts some of the excitement. And like I said, unless they're planning to introduce the Black Widow initiative and potentially have another girl filling in for Black Widow's shoes. I don't know. I don't know how this can be successful per se. Not saying that it can't if they don't go this route. Just I'm kind of skeptical about this, and Iron Man's death in Endgame kind of dampens the same thing too if he makes a cameo in the Black Widow movie. And yeah, Iron Man had a big cameo in Endgame, in Far From Home. I'm sorry, which was a Spider-Man movie. No, sorry, it's Homecoming. Iron Man had a big cameo in Homecoming. And some people felt like it was like Iron Man 4, but they were trying to focus more on Spider-Man, which I can see the criticism. So maybe he has, and also from what I've heard, Iron Man's going to have a smaller role in Black Widow than he did in Endgame. That I think it's only going to be isolated to like one scene, which, like I said, I wouldn't exactly mind. It's just I'm kind of skeptical because they killed him and Black Widow off in Endgame. So I'm not saying that this is the worst news. It's just I'm really skeptical, and I do want this to work. So what do you guys think? Are you guys still excited for the Black Widow movie, and are you guys excited for Iron Man to make a cameo in Black Widow, which I know I have not dove into that much, the last part in this video, but how do you guys feel? Leave a comment below, and I'll see you guys soon.